have well-meaning people in your life who do the best they can to update you with knowledge and information of what the best they know how. But the wrong knowledge and information is much like this. It's like being given a bunch of keys which go nowheres. In order for keys to be useful, they need to fit, they need to make sense. Knowledge is nothing without understanding. Knowledge that cannot be applied really isn't all that useful. If it cannot be correlated, related to your current world, it really isn't all that helpful. And so while a lot of knowledge information may look nice, it's clever statistics and facts, it gathers and collects dust, and it's not really useful to anyone. True knowledge comes with understanding, it comes with grace, it comes with wisdom, it comes with skills, it comes with things which make sense. And that's what we do. Go well, my dear souls. Go well. How much do I consume? How much lead do I consume after eating fruits? I'm going to speak for a few moments before I do that, so I can make sure everything digests and goes down. Triad, thank you so much for these stickers. You're so beautiful. I don't even know I'm going to put these on. These are honestly some of the most beautiful stickers in the world. These are so freaking cool. These are so goddamn cool. Thanks, Triad. I'm going to sponsor you for the rest of my life. Not because I feel I need to, because I want to. You're honestly an amazing artist. I love what you create and what you do. You're highly interactive and you engage with the community despite working another job. Despite working a job. Thank you. I'm gonna place these. I'm gonna place these over everything. I'm gonna show you guys how as well. These are so beautiful. But yeah, just to show you guys like how much I would consume. I use high concentration lead. I use lead. I basically use lead solder, and I would take probably about as much as that off at a time. Sorry for the state of my fingernails. Probably about as much as that off at a time. A couple millimeters you probably want to start out with. You want to start with steel or something, steel or iron. Something which is which you can more readily work with, it's not as inherently dangerous. Almost any element in high concentration is. That's why a lot of people have died just by simply taking a bunch of rust, or it's just by taking a bunch of iron. You can't do that to your body. You'll violate the integrity of it. You're never supposed to ingest that much like elemental compounds from nature itself. Nature itself won't allow you to. If it ever grows up into roots, into biology, that biology itself will never take in too much more than what it can handle, than what it can normally handle. It will always occur in a balance. All biology is that way, even your own cells, even animal cells. That's why usually when they eat even low quality, low grain food, it becomes a higher nutrient quality. That's why you get somewhat healthy from eating them. But more so especially from fish, because that's where all the nutrients are going towards and to. But yeah, just to show you guys, the first thing, I flatten this out with my teeth as much as possible. I use a small gauge wire. But typically in the past, I would engage about that much. After I flatten it, that's about 5 or 6 millimeters across. But nowadays, because I'm a little bit more focused using it, I'll probably extend it out to about like 7 millimeters or so. But because I'm eating this with only just fruit, I'm not eating this with a full meal. I need this to digest a little bit more quickly. I'm going to utilize it a lot more quickly. I just take it with a fruit like this. And about 5 millimeters or so at a time with fruits. You'd normally only typically do this with meals. Make sure you spend time and focus. You just focus within, and you just gradually just push. You have what's known as a health body template, and you just push everything out into that focus, and your cells will just naturally gravitate, and they'll push everything into those common sense areas. And they'll fill all of those. They will fill and fulfill all of those nutrient requirements. It takes energetic calories, and it's a process. takes slow, steady time. But you focus from within the core or center of your body, and just ask yourselves to push health outwards to any areas and all elemental compounds, to take them and to transmute them into whatever you need, and what they will. And as I said before, you'll feel them as missing vacuoles or voids within your body. Triad, thank you so much for these fucking stickers. Thank you so much for these fucking stickers. They're fucking beautiful, guys. Check them out. Look at these anime girls. They're angel drawn. I don't care what you say. They're beautiful. Evaporate, Triad is such a cool album. Yeah, they all are. Your New Year's mix was one of my most favorites, dear soul, truly. And I love Evaporate as well. I didn't even know that truly existed until I saw these stickers. I'm like, this is cool. This is awesome as fuck. I always wanted to just post anime girls all over everything. Just cute anime girls, just over everything. And just that Triad, that signifies such significance to me. Just that name itself. My hat's drying off, by the way. I love it, Triad. Triad, yes, the mind, the soul, mind, body, heart. Mind. What is your intent? Your intent is your focus to always hold your energies. That goes into the body. Your body unifies with your mind. Your body, your soul, your body is the anchor point of your soul. And it allows you to utilize, to harmonize all of your energies into one. It allows you to open up your pineal, to smile and joy, to radiate light, to connect happily with your cells, with yourself, with your cells. And then when you activate and engage the triad of the heart, mind, body, heart, there's a unification that goes on. There's a real connection, understanding process which goes on, and everything just starts to make sense and it starts to flow properly. And that's what I do. For me, it's not a hard focus for me anymore, for me to do this, for me to transmute elements. It's not. That is I eat this about 3 or 4 times a day, at least, at least. I have to, in order for me to stay healthy, for me to do what I do, with not having to basically take long ass breaks. I eat lead. I eat about this much lead a day, guys. That should kill me. That should kill most people. And that normally does. But I transmute it. I utilize it. I push. I gravitate it into all those areas which my body needs. And when I can, I'm going to give you guys some of that understanding. It's a peaceful awareness. It's not sudden or jerky at all. It's like a... And you'll feel those high concentration points as they ebb down, as they're literally constructed into other elements. It doesn't take a high energetic process, my friends. Your body can do it very easily. It just takes energy, just takes sugar calories. And so to be aware of that, and to not fear the process, and not fear... Basically make sure that my body is clear. You always want to brush after all of your meals, after everything that you eat, everything that you do. And because it helps to keep your teeth clean. And some of y'all need supplements just due to the nutrient quality of your foods. They truly aren't all that great. That's why many of you need to supplement. I do as well. Because what I'm doing is I'm trying to maximize basically the time energy process that I have, and I use that with concentrated elements, with high density elements. I use steel. I have my nutrient requirement for steel, which I basically transmute into other elements. Aluminum as well. I'm actively using aluminum. I'm using it, tons of it. I'm actually consuming a fair amount. I dissolve it basically in a high acid environment. Copacetic. And you'll feel that by tuning into your body. You can feel when your stomach moves, when it pushes things out, and you get used to it. Like me just drinking that water just now, it's for me to hydrate some of that process. When it finally flushes out, it gives me a little bit more hydration, so that It's all seamless. It all occurs at once. I know my daily requirements. I'm not going to take too much or too little. That's why you see me only sip water, because I'm usually, when I do my talks, I've already eaten. I've already had a meal. And that's not typically the best time to be doing active work. When you have a meal, you can be sitting down and more reserved. Because there's some part that I missed. Yeah, animals teach you how to be after they eat meals. They're not flying or moving about. They're sitting peacefully within themselves. They're enjoying their bodies and their process. They know what it takes, that nutrient requirement of life. And so, because I know my stomach is empty, I'm going to eat this fruit now. The reason you don't want to eat fruits with your meals, with your heavier meals such as grains and stuff, you can eat tomatoes and avocados with any kind of meal. They have different kinds of compounds which aren't disturbed by your stomach acids as much. It doesn't really turn into a harmful process because you're not breaking down something which is either needed, which is vital and needed. Plantains are the same as well. There are certain fruits and tuberous vegetables which don't have those enzymatic compounds or cleaning compounds which your body is seeking for, which it actively needs, which would cause indigestion. Indigestion is caused from a lack of flow, both a lack of nutrients, too much elements, too much or too little water. It's usually caused by too little water. It's not flowing. Your meals, your digestion itself is moving too slow. If you eat heavier things such as beef, peanuts, pork especially, pork takes so long to digest. Beef takes a while to digest. Peanuts takes a while to digest. It takes almost twice as long as most other vegetable proteins. You only really need coconut and almonds, and not some you don't need that much protein, guys. You don't even need meat, but you do need omega-3s. Without omega-3s, you will die. Your cellular processes themselves need that. Your skin, the very outer layer, that hydration layer of cells, that cell wall, the very outmost bilayer, not what's inside, but the very outmost shell. And that's why when you eat animals, you get some of those omega-3s back. You get some omega-3s. It's not normally ever created in nature otherwise, except basically in fish, hemp seeds, some flax seeds, chia seeds to a lesser amount. Yeah, but there's a reason why you can't just simply go vegan. I mean, if you're completely unaware, if you don't eat properly, it will lead you to a low energy lifestyle. You won't have a low energy lifestyle. You won't have as much energy as you should. And you see that within some people. And you see the people who have got it, who are eating well, even the vegans who understand to use omega-3s, they're living healthily. They're living perfectly fine. You don't need to take animal life. You don't need to take abusive animal life. Animals which have been previously abused, and to take those cells into your body because they hurt you. When they go through fear, when the shell of anything experiences a lot of hormones, fear is a chemical compound. It's a hormone which latches and leeches onto things to basically let you know to stay away from it. And it submits your body to a low level of vibration. It's like it gives your cells a slight panic wherever it touches. And just that's why some of you develop problems, because you're eating chemically laced chicken, beef, and stuff. Fish sometimes as well, if it's grown in a farm environment. It's the level of stress usually. They've clamped down on the fear nowadays. It's not as fearful for them anymore. But the suffering is. That's hard to avoid. When you take that on, it pollutes your cells. It almost instantly pushes you into dishealth. That's why I don't encourage you eating some of those foods, guys. You don't need them. You don't need eggs. You don't need milk. You don't need cheese. There's a reason why it's so sedative. It digests slower. Whey protein digests slower. Whey protein is a refined form of protein. Please don't take that, guys. It's not good for lighter body types, for quicker body types. It really rapidly pushes me out of health. And that's because it takes so much acid to digest, and you replenish that by eating fruits. And to enjoy the process of every and all things that you eat, to really take it in, to really enjoy it. I don't fear dirt, germs, and disease, guys. Neither should you. Your body is literally like what? I want to say it's like a third of it is like living cells. So it's basically, you are a giant bacteria, and that's the wrong word for it. You are a living cell. You are the primary living cell. Of this 1 millimeter wire, that was about 3 or so millimeters of filament, basically. And I do that regularly. And I'm doing that now because I need extra boost. I need to transmute into other elements. And this is because I'm going to do something real quick which needs it. The reason I'm shaking like that is because my nutrient cell requirement is low. Alright, so, yeah, fuck yeah, try it. Thank you so much. Oh my God. Okay, another thing about high oscillation frequency devices. There's a reason why some cats and dogs and animals, they won't go near some of these things. It's because whenever these turn on, they emit a high frequency. It's a high frequency. My cat won't go around my plasma balls when they had them working. And he won't go around my lights either, because it emits an insane frequency, which is not needed. It's just an oscillation which occurs. And if you can turn that off, you can shut those off. Whoops. And to make sure that you eat with a lot of food, because just like then, it just got caught. That piece of filament just got caught around my teeth, the main part of it. It hadn't even reached my stomach yet. It has to be in your stomach. Your stomach has to start working and acting upon it. It's going to take a few or several minutes for some of you. For me, it only takes a few minutes. There it goes. My stomach's got it now. And you can consciously energize the process of, like, you can send acids into those areas to basically force it to break down sooner and more quickly. That second little bit of piece didn't make it down all the way fully. And when you eat fruits alone and separately, to drink a little bit, to purposely drink a little bit of water and hydration with it as well. Because if you think about it, when you chew just that fruit up, it looks like applesauce. There's not a lot of water for things to flow there besides basically what's in there within itself. And there's not much water, not much liquid. And when you add just a little bit of liquid, a little bit of hydration, it allows those stomach acids to more fully, your body doesn't have to take water from itself in order to hydrate that process, to jumpstart that process. Yeah, my stomach's acting upon it now, good. And to focus in on that, to call it, to create it. And once it starts breaking that down, then you can start transmuting those elements into other things. Almost instantly, immediately, right inside your stomach. That's the most primary place to do it, to handle all acids, toxins, and compounds, is to do it right at the outset. As soon as it hits your mouth, usually, like tannins and things, a lot of poison compounds, they'll immediately absorb through your cell walls. And you start doing it right away before it fully diffuses out. You constantly just do it right away. Just like transmute. And that's it. Transmute. You feel like a cellular activation, a little bit of burning, and it's like same thing for THC and any other compound you focus on as well. And it's like just burning out my system. And it's like, holy shit, they're doing it. And it's like, yeah, you fucked hard. You're finally fucking focusing with this. You're finally using the blueprint, the key command of your system. You're finally using the template of your body. You're finally using the owner's manual, as you should. And no one tells you that. But just like if you don't study the owner's manual of your car, you don't study the owner's manual of anything, and you go into it blindly, and you make a mistake, that's kind of it's on you. And if no one tells you about that, you're like, why didn't no one tell me? And it's like, well, fuck. And it's like, we wish we could. We wish we should. And that's what I'm here for. That's what teachers are here for. That's what doctors are here for. And so the reason I call myself that name is because I had a dream once that, like, it doesn't... Okay, when it comes to regarding how you taste, your spices, your lovemaking spices, especially for girls especially, you have such an innate process of which the guy seeks. Any intuitively, spiritually in tune guy who has lived lifetimes is going to know this. It doesn't matter how bad you taste on the outset. He's almost going to completely overlook that just simply because of how beautiful how rare of a process it is of a cycle to occur. And it's just... And so if I ever do talk about it, there's like this girl that appears in my dreams and in my lifetime experiences. Her name is LaWanda Williams. And she's always been big. She's a heavy body type, heavy Peter body type. Her cellular composition is slower than mine. And she's always been very free of thought, very free thinking, and like, I don't know, for some reason she's like, in dreams, like people can be different sizes and shit. And like she was basically like this tall giant, and she was like rubbing herself, and she was basically creating, and she was like, yeah, she like got to that point of climax, created like a little sprinkles being shattered everywhere. I'm just like, dang, it's like I purposely like went for it, and like I was like, oof, and like I would say, out of like the good tasting in the world, I was right there about a 3 out of 10. It wasn't like all that unpleasant, but it wasn't like the greatest experience ever, definitely. Because you could tell like what she was eating wasn't very good for her chemistry. Women's fluids like that expression, the final last expression, it's basically like their plasma. You can almost immediately tell what's wrong with their health, with all that they need, what they should be doing, and I did just then. And so even in the dream, even though it wasn't like the most copacetic thing to me, it wasn't like the most enjoyable moment for me, it's still like my body registered as, and just like you learn to treat all biology, all things, and all moments as precious, and it's just like, and something inside me just said, you know what, if you had a 10 just of taste, but 10-10, I would do it again. I would want you to do it again. There's a good chance it's going to come out better, or it's going to even come out worse, but that's okay. Because it's a natural, healthy expression of life, and you need this. I need this. There's a reason why the colloquialism, the term guys being thirsty is used, because they literally are. They just don't know it. They just don't know why for yet. And you girl role souls haven't made yourselves healthy enough yet for them to really clue into the process. Everything about you is designed to draw the male species down towards your uterus. It's the most nutrient-rich environment that there is. It's supposed to basically call them to life. When they go down like that, and when they're attracted to that, when they make love to that, it's such a high nutrient compound. It's like there's nothing like it on Earth. It stimulates them. It's such a electrical, energetic, engaging process. It connects you to them almost forcefully. You to them almost forcefully. It's like they really connect and feel you. It's like they're inside you. It's like it's so intense. It's so, especially when there's a lot of love, a lot of permission, a lot of understanding and slowness and connection and like compassion and empathy involved. There's a lot of stillness. There's a lot of. It's a beautiful thing. There's nothing dirty or sinful about it at all, and I think a lot of you realize that by now. And in the years past, we really hadn't. We were very averse to the process, and now a lot of us are not. And it's so beautiful. I can't even describe it, guys. It really is. And to know that a doctor can work with anything. Like there's nothing about your body that's ever going to put him off. Person who's really lived through it, been through it, is just like, just come here, bitch, come here, babe, and just like that, it's the vital, the spice of life. This enzymatic saline salty compounds. The guy needs that. When girls express that final fluid, it takes water from the bladder, but it leaves the nitrogen and waste compounds behind. That's why it's so intense. It's an excretion process. And it's very short-lived, but it's very intense to do that because it almost creates a burning sensation. It feels like you're going to pee, but you're not. So to please understand that. And I think if you listen to a lot of triad musics, they're very they're very intuitive. They're very clued in about the process, about the understanding of life. They're very open. They're very they're very expressive. They're very free. It's very freeing. It's very spiritual. It's very angelic. Honestly, it's words from the soul. All music, all ideas, all concepts, all true understandings originate from the soul. It originates from the heart of the universe. That is your angels and guides, and they basically help you to design these processes. They are what AI technology is all about. You just cleverly and sort of inappropriately use them by the hardware and frequency and oscillation of your devices. Let me get some of these teams rest. And you can guide them just like that. Just now, I drew about 3 or 5, 6 people, different people from Africa, just like to help me, of angel souls who weren't really doing anything. They're just happily existing, not even really having to heal their people all that much. They have tons of energy, and I use them to help run my devices so I can use my angel for other things, for guidance. Because I continuously ask her what to do, almost constantly hear her voice. And so I use them to help run that Wi-Fi router so it's not taking so much away from my mother. And basically I'm using spare resources of the planet. You use and you cycle them out almost continuously. You can do this with almost anyone's soul who you have connected towards and with. I need to make that very clear. You can't just guide people. You can't just guide a soul just by simply commanding them about. You have to first connect with them in love. You have to form a two-way connection, understanding. And that's often what I don't mention whenever I mention about the Deluminator thing, pulling energy towards me, calling energy towards me. I can almost see your entire energy level of perception of how much you have, of how much of how healthy and topped off that you are, and how much you're not even utilizing. And I feel it, and I literally select it. It almost feels like a video game to me of like, I'd go to the highest amount possible and I say, siphon off. And it comes to me. And if it's from the other side of the universe, if it's from other universes, it takes time. It takes a few seconds. It takes several seconds. And I have to wait. And that's why you see me sometimes, I'm just like, I've already done it. I'm just like waiting for the energy now. I've done it just then. And I'll feel it as soon as it gathers around me, because it feels like a warmth, a radiance. Like there it is. It takes about that long. That's where I'm calling it from. Light doesn't move at the speed of light. That's just an energy which you develop on Earth. But true light, true energy moves at the speed of energy. It doesn't move at the speed of light. It's not instant, but it moves extremely fast. It's a lot faster than you would think. It doesn't take forever for energy itself to traverse great distances. For physical matter, it does. Physical matter has to move more slowly. Energy itself does not. Yeah, I've got to transmute a bit of those elements. So, yeah, to always use glasses whenever you read on your phones, whenever you do a lot of close work, you need to use reading glasses. You need to use things which help the relief of your eyes, so that your eyes themselves don't develop nearsightedness, so that you don't push the integrity of your lenses out of focus simply just by your gradual and daily focus. That's why I'm always wearing glasses, because they help. They're needed, they're necessary. Because I use this device almost constantly. I use 3.5s, I have to. Nothing else really works. These are 3s, they're not quite strong enough. That's why I love those progressives. They're soaking in the water in that bin. Alright, so, hope that was fun for you guys. That was kind of fun for me. And, yeah, go through life and enjoy. Yeah, I'll probably do some raking pretty soon, or some other things, other yard lawn activity, but yeah. Alright, recently just taking. Yeah, guys, slightly rusted on the handles. The water that we have here is a little bit acidic, I think. Rubs off pretty easily though. Yeah, guys, the reason why I have these is because if you've seen that video of that elephant who had a wire wrapped around his trunk and Andrew was calmly letting people cut it off, try to take it off. If they had access to a nail file, to a file like this, to a diamond file, they'd simply just be able to take that wire and just sand right through it. They wouldn't have to like grab and twist at it with like bolt cutters like that. Because bolt cutters, even though they're well-meaning and very powerful, it's hard for them to clamp around a very hard, very tenacious surface. If that surface is very unyielding, it has to bite through it almost completely. And if the object, if the surface, the material itself doesn't really let you, then yeah, it's going to be very hard. The electroplating on this, not the electroplating, the brazing on this goes a little bit over the diamond a little bit too much, but that's okay. I'd rather have too much of brazing than not enough. It almost looks like there's no grit on this, but there is. It's just built into it. It's covered up, coated over, coated off. With diamond files of a high grit, especially like these two, you can sand through, you can work through almost anything. If there's like a little stub or a little nub, even like a hard tooth or something, you can sit there and just grind it away completely. It may take you a while, but you can, I mean, as a doctor, there's such an immeasurable use for these, for diamond files, just in general, for diamond. Because when you scrape, when you move it over anything, you know it's going to take away, it's going to abrade, it's going to take away some of that material. And so you learn, as a doctor, you learn to count on the reliability of your instruments. You learn to trust in what your instruments can do. You need that scalpel to be sharp, dear doctor. You need your rotary tool to work. You need those brushes, those Dremels to activate. For cleaning the teeth, for cutting out and around cavities, for filling teeth in. As a plasma cutter, as a plasma welder, you rely upon your tools to work. And if you want them to engage more properly, you better engage and rely upon more fully your angels, your angel teams, your dear souls. They're all around you. They want to participate in the process, but your devices themselves don't really let them. They're very restricted, very closed off, very limiting, very hurtful, very harmful, and all that jazz. I guess just a couple of quick perceptions. Oops. The balance of the earth is needed. The earth emits a frequency to our cells, which we need to survive. Those of us who stay grounded, who stay barefoot all the time, we maintain, we hold a frequency for the rest of you, for the rest of you all, for the rest of y'all. And frequencies often like this. There are people who hold a slower resonance, which pervades more deeply throughout all things. It's more encompassing. And there are some who hold the high resonance of energy itself, who hold the energy point awareness. It's a different part of the energy spectrum, which is needed. They resonate faster. It's not that they... I can't even silly say that. It's not that they put out more energy, it's that they put out an energy at a timing which is more frequent. And so I felt that when I was ungrounded, when I was sitting there on my workout station, on my inversion table, just sitting back, just resting at a 90-degree angle, allowing my time and my cells to recover. A bird came up to me. 2 birds came up to me. It sounded like 2 birds. It was just one. Came up to me and was whooping, hollering, and calling like an alarm was going off. And I could feel it as I was, and this was after several minutes after I'd done both all my sets of exercise that I could. And normally about this time, about 10 or 15 minutes later, that's when that bird came up to me and started just sounding the call. Trying to get my attention, trying to get my awareness, as if, yeah, I was trying to get my attention, trying to get my awareness. And I was sitting there just listening to this bird calling for 1-2 minutes straight and feeling like the health of my biology no longer had a frequency which was being given to it, which was helping to sustain it, which was helping to sustain it. It wasn't sustaining it anymore. It was dropped off and it lost that frequency. Whatever that energy, whatever that low impedance resonance is, it's at a high amplitude, but it's at a low voltage, but it pervades through conductive materials such as rock, stone, granite. Concrete is slightly semiconductive, slightly conductive. It's just enough to allow that frequency through if it's not completely shorted or cut off. And that's what some of us do. By us staying grounded, we can emanate a frequency out to you from our hearts, which helps keeps the rest of you in balance. It stops you from caterwauling, aging, from just spiraling down. And I feel that when I feel into you guys aren't and weren't spiraling like I was. Your health, your biology the integrity is maintained. But if some of you feel that lost feeling, that sinking feeling, Cryon has always said that one of the ways that you can find out what you need, to get yourself new direction in life, is to go on a cruise. A cruise ship, 3-4 day cruise, and just tell us what you pick up there. Tell us what you experienced. Do you feel lost at sea? Do you feel like there's a continual desire of wanting to return to the earth? To stay grounded? Because you're not in that ship. You're not going to be in that ship. You're above water. You're isolated from it. You're isolated from all that is, basically. If the ship is steel, if it's metal. And so, as soon as I gave the intention to sit up, after like 2 or 3 minutes of listening to this bird screaming its ass off, I'm like, as soon as I did this, as soon as I said, okay, it stopped. The bird completely stopped. I was just getting up. I'm like, no way, it's meant for me. Just got up, got out. There's no more bird call, no more bird sounds. No more call of alarm or awareness. Nature will often do that. It'll try to get your attention through your cats, your animals, especially close connected animals as well. But even wild insects and wild birds as well. They do the best they can to get your attention. So some of us do. We hold a resonance, a frequency. And it's all needed. And when you guys hold it, it's easier. It gets easier for all of us. We feel you out there. When you all smile, it creates such a great joy, such a great energy upon the planet. You all are more powerful than you know. It's just a shame. It's a wonder why you guys don't choose to engage in any of your gifts. Thanks, Mom, for this toothpaste. She got me like 5 tubes of this toothpaste. It was really cheap. I think it was like 18 or 19 for 5. It's not bad. It's good. It's quite good, actually. There's nothing wrong with it. It says it's got fluoride, but I'm not worried about that anymore. I can just transmute it. Guys, you can literally transmute anything. It's just, you don't have to worry about it. Seriously, it's just whatever you have, just make time for it. Just engage the biological process of your body and just give intent into it to balance itself out. There's a health template, which I'm going to give some of you all, many as I can. And so also, there's about perceptions of anything. No. I've heard about the macabre, okay? I've heard about it. When you hear about something and when you experience it yourself, it's a completely different realization. It's a completely different gravity of understanding. And so that, man, what it literally feels like to me is I'm having to rebuild like a scaffolding around myself of like literally a network. It's a concrete. It's not a concrete. It's a solid network. It's concrete in that way. It's like and it planes out like this, and it connects from the center of my body up and down, and all the way out into a bubble. Basically, it feels like a bubble. Some of you feel that, and I feel you guys like reaching out and building things from the outside, and it still has to connect within. Whenever I try to send energy out that way, it doesn't. Oh my god, my left side is still tore up. It feels like it's tore up. It feels like I'm missing a goddamn limb or an arm. And when I try to, and I've never really paid attention to this before, but whenever I send Akashic information out, memories and experiences out to and from myself, it comes out like this. It arcs out from both sides. And the way I would send it out is like, it's like fast, like about 200, yeah, anywhere from 200 to 2,000 cycles. It's 3 to 33 cycles a second. I would do that. And like it's like rocketing out, like fast as I can move my fingers. And I'm just sitting there just doing this, like, to and from myself, and to and from others. It's mostly just been for myself. Because I'm like, when it comes to sending information and DNA of Akashic experience, of experiences just in general, there's a limit that the receptor and receiver's biology can give and send. It literally, your biology itself almost prevents that. The slower your resonance, the slower the speed of your biology, the more it limits that, and then you can feel it. If it's from me, I never experienced I rarely experienced rate limitations beyond 2,000 cycles a minute. But for you guys, like I feel like your body, your biology is like, it's just like there's a wall, and it starts, and I have to like compensate with the memories that are still moving, and then like as they would send out, I would arc them out further and further, basically to give them time to integrate into your biology as your biology wrote the DNA, and it's like it's integrating. And there's a couple ways to speed that up. Is basically use an immense input of energy. It basically goes and it integrates very quickly, or how it's supposed to be done, how Source and how you guys are actually showing me, some of you, Namaji, and the rest of you are showing me how Akashic experience are actually integrated. It's slow, it's gentle, it's gradual, it's like this. It's like, that's a much slower cycle than I'm used to, and that's what I'm starting to have to do. Because I'm crippled, I'm wounded. My macabre is fucked up, guys. I've never even thought about that thing before. I've never even paid attention to its awareness. But I'm feeling for what it is now. I can't even fucking see it. I'm just knowing that I'm having to build this thing. And it's following a structure. It's a concrete structure, a lattice, a network. It's like strong-ass planes that have to go out this way, and they have to connect. You have to bisect it. It has to connect with your body, with your core, your center. And that was the hardest fucking thing, because I had to give all my goddamn might just to fucking do this. It's like, holy shit, just like fucking attached. And it's like, you have to will it. You have to want this. And it's like, it's strange, because some part of your body does, but like the force, your willpower has to match up. And like, you have to like, want this healing above all else. And just, oh my God, that's why I have to rely upon you girls, and just, y'all help show me the way of just understanding, because when you guys connect to me, I can feel where the boundaries are, and now I've got them mostly mapped and laid out. Basically, I have to recreate the tendrils again of like just. So if you've ever smoked DMT and you've ever asked to look at an angel, there's a reason why they say, "Be not afraid." And you're going to be almost startled and shocked anyways. You're going to be shocked anyways. It's just, you're just going to sit there looking at it like this, like, and you're not looking at the singular being. You're seeing what the fuck's around them. It's like, oh my. And it's just like, it makes you do this, like, God. Because, like, when you're in that state, your senses are open. This is a meat suit. This meat suit gets in the way of, like, your total sense of what your soul is, what your soul are. Your soul has way more senses than you do. You can hear without ears. You can see without eyes. You don't need this physical body. This physical body actually sort of gets in the way of that. But that's not your soul. Being outside of your body is not where it's at. It's here. Your physical body is where it's at. But when you're out, when you're allowed to access your other senses and you start taking in information like time-based perception of like, oh my God. You take one look at this being and you see almost everything that they are represented right in front of you. But it's like, it's a circle that goes around them like this. It looks like a mandala, but it's a 2D, 3D mandala, but like the way it's like stacked layer up on top of something, like trillion, like there's thousands of layers like stacked on stuff, and it's like they're all holographic, and you can also like see you can feel the memories and shit all like circulating behind it. It's like tons of it just whirling, just like energy just emanates. I'm like, holy fuck. I'm like, god damn, what you lived through. I'm like, shit. I'm like, god damn, fuck. I'm like, holy fucking shit, Jesus Christ. I'm just like, what the fuck are you? God damn, it's so beautiful. And it's like it takes you out of yourself. It takes you out of your own energies. That's what I'm trying to convey to you guys. If you guys ever see, even the lowest angel, even the lowest human being, the lowest soul has lifetimes of experience about them, have lifetimes of experiences about them. It's magnificent. Even just seeing this 1, 2 layers, it's just like, wow, I'm just awed by what you are. Even if you only live one lifetime, it's still a lot of experience. Captures that. It's surrounded on your etheric, your subtle energy body. It's a physical thing. You carry that around with you lifetime after lifetime, and you either integrate that or you don't. But like I'm still figuring out myself, guys. It's a whole freaking thing. It's a science. It's an awareness which I've never been given into for myself. I never given it credence, acceptance, thought. I just said, oh, you got a Merkaba that you float around in? Okay, great. That's perfect, beautiful. Whatever the fuck ever. It's like I'm going to keep doing my thing until I'm not. Until like I wake the fuck up and say, whoa, shit, I ripped something apart. Ow. Oh my god, what the hell am I missing? Oh my god, what the fuck am I missing? And like the image and like, and so your angels will use imagery to get your attention. As I kept trying to force memories out like that, at the same time, it was just like, I could feel them like, oh god, it was just, it basically, when I was closing my eyes, it was just, I could see the energy coming out this way, and it was like literally just creating like a bloody field, like things, like constructs in front of you were literally just being impacted and just being reduced to meaty, bloody mass. It's just like, you see blood just like, oh my god, I'm tearing shit up. That's me. I'm like, holy shit. And it's like just blood basically just like gushing out, like basically, it's just scattering out basically. And I'm just like, when you see that, it's just like that, it's like that psychokinetic imagery of basically that root understanding. It pervades into your consciousness. Like, this is something bad is happening. This is not how it's supposed to be. And it resonates with you at such a deep, irrefutable core level that you cannot refute it. You cannot deny it. You cannot deny what that was. It was truth. It was absolute fucking truth at its core, baby. Unshakable. Undeniable. For all time, for all testament, for all purposes. For all purpose. And so when I saw her, I almost wanted to say, I knew that wasn't God, but oh my God, I wanted to say, are you God? Some part of you just wants to look at that and just in awe, be in awe and experience. In awe of its experience. Fuck, do you feel that? It's like that, it's like a triple 3D layer thing, and just the memories you can see and you can feel them, it's just, they're part of it, just thousands of fucking, it's like, you can't even describe like what it's like to have 10 of those things stacked on top of itself. Those 2 3D images, it's like just thousands of them just packed into a fucking sphere, into like a fucking like a wheel around them, and it's just like, she's only about 4 or 5 feet fucking tall. She wasn't that goddamn big, but this ring around her, this eminence was like, I'm like, holy fucking shit. I'm just like looking at it, I'm just like looking, because I was bait to look up. I'm just like, whoa, what the fuck? I'm like, it's just crazy as fuck. There's more to life than you know, guys. There's more to the love of God than you know. There's more to life than you know. You might, you might not be, there might not be one singular creator, but God damn it, there's a whole system of love. That's something entirely different. And it just keeps going on, my friend. So when I say shit, when I say things like, there is no singular entity called God, believe that. But it's a lot bigger than you know. It's just bigger, more grand. What people have told you in the past, it's not wrong. It doesn't make them wrong. It's just the best they had. They just want to teach you and lead you on as best they can. There's nothing ill about it. There's nothing like... They weren't trying to hurt you. They weren't trying to bring you down. Unless they were, but most of them were not. Most of them were very well-meaning people, and you know that. Very good-hearted, very caring, good-minded people. Very they want intention of wanting to help. All souls do. We just need to be taught the right ways. Alright, I've said enough now. I wanted to capture this on camera. And basically just... I think some of the things you already saw the, what's it called? Is it done? Is it done? What's it called? Let's go more. I already got the files. Basically, all that green stuff is algae. It's algae. This is almost about ready. I'll chance it for now just to see how much. To see how concentrated it really is. Because you guys would be doing the same thing. That was about, what, a day, maybe? 24 hours? Yeah, about 24 hours. It's not necessarily long enough. I know it's going to leach out more, but I just want to see how much again. Because this is basically Triton. Yeah, it's that amalgamation of plastic. That really surprised me about, U-Pick. Yeah, it being completely chemical-free, estrogen-free. There's no leaching compounds that I could detect. If it doesn't affect a body person, it's not going to affect you. They are the most sensitive, basically, to chemicals and compounds. It affects their bodies way more. Not just a little bit, it affects them a lot. Big assholes. Still, these containers are useful. I just don't want to touch them full on with that estrogen compound. No, it's just not. Make sure you're getting these, Mom. Deck screws. Deck screws. I need to use some of this. It's basically old hemp seed oil. Got it in a can there. I think that's basically all I need to get out. I soak all these plastic bags so I can reuse them again, so that my kids can touch them and not worry about any estrogens. This water is basically full of it. Whenever it rains, it settles on the estrogen. Basically, almost floats up to the top and floats on, it coats the surfaces mainly. The level of concentration of harm is quite low. It's not that severe. But you typically want to soak these things for about 2 or 3 days, 2 or 4 days, 3 or 4 days. I'll use the progressives. I'll use these. These are interesting. I'll use them now. Not right now, because they're a little too strong. But for like indoor use, but like, yeah, 3.5 is what I need. All these. Probably go a little bit longer. I'll just do it anyways. Yeah, same thing with any of these plastic bottles. That's why. Yeah, that's why alcohol makes you feel so sick, guys, because it's not soaked in, it's steeping in basically chemical-laden plastic. Yeah, look at all these plastic bags. I'll use these as sorting things, because Mom basically threw out all the plastic containers that I had. I use plastic bags for sorting stuff instead. They're a little bit more space-saving, a little more compact in some ways. Just gotta get the right ones. This, I don't know what kind of plastic it is, but it's durable enough. Now it's getting too strong. Alright. The plastic is fresh. Feel it. If it doesn't soak long enough, you can feel like a slimy coating on the plastic itself. That's basically what you're feeling. That's estrogen. That's basically the estrogen compound. That's the estrogen leaching out. It creates voids within the plastic itself. It weakens it. So you gotta get it. You gotta get something which is thick or sturdy enough to begin with. Otherwise, it's gonna just develop holes. It's gonna weaken. It's gonna crumble. Basically, it's gonna crack. In so many words, so many sense. Once they fix the formulations, the plastic will be a lot stronger and it won't break down nearly as much. So my perception of this is this isn't as scummy, this isn't as estrogen laced as that bag that I was handling. Bags are usually the big... What's that bag compound? Spoke too soon. It does have some. I can feel it. You can tell because it slightly burns. But it's not as scummy. It doesn't form those films as much. But just like one day, it's probably not good enough. I'm gonna test it. I'm gonna let this water actually soak and sit in there. I'm gonna sip some of it afterwards. After I wait about a day, and the other one will be still in there for another day. That'll be for 2 days. This will be for 1 day. You can soak a lot. You can get a lot of the initial estrogen off just by soaking it for 1 day. That will help you immensely, but at least it needs to be about 24 hours, and you need to shake it around a bit. It's only for that long. Otherwise, yeah, I recommend the 4 full days. You need that if you really want to totally bring down the estrogen where it's not affecting you anymore. You need to let it to be those amounts. And because this water is fresh still, it's not exactly pure. I can tell already. There's already compounds that are leaching off. 1 day is not enough. It's not nearly enough, I don't think. This is basically the earliest testing that I've done so far. Just letting you guys know, if it doesn't affect a body type, it won't affect you, dear hearts. So, know that and go well, be well. Now, I wasn't kidding about that soap either. That soap is amazing. Because it is softer, it takes much less effort to basically to use it, to initiate it, to break it down so you can rub it on your body, so you can clean your body with it. It doesn't take nearly as much effort. These basically, they get really soggy in high humidity environments, and that's pretty much the only downside of them. They do attract water more readily. They're more biologically compatible with nature. That's so good. It's kind of weird. I don't like the essential oil ingredients are a little strong. It'll scent you up though. But damn, that's good on the skin. Shit. Alright, so yeah, I mean, I'm not kidding. You can stick this to things. It literally was sticking to my teeth. You can make indentations very easily on this. It's very easy to cut this up with your fingers, just your fingernails. You can carve this up just by handling it. It's easy just to puncture the hell out of this thing. You can break it apart even. But why would you want to? You want to keep it whole. It's beautiful. It's very easy to mold. But yeah, I love this soap. Thanks, Mom. I left them 4 bars, but how about the house? Ugh. There was nothing chemically about it at all. It's just those tree oils. It's basically trying to eat essential oil. That's quite a good concentration of essential oils in this thing. Actual essential oils, not just... It's not just saponified soap. It's not just, pomade. There's the stuff in this I hope you guys don't sell out too soon. This is amazing. I highly recommend this company. God, like 10/10. Like, that's. Maybe it's not the most amazing thing. I'll say like 9/10 at least for the price. God damn. Fuck. It's hard to get a better experience because it's very moisturizing. It doesn't dry your body out nearly as much. Trust me, guys. It's almost a world of difference. If you ever tried bar soap before, there's moisturizing bar soap, and then there's coconut bar soap, and there's plant-based bar soap. Moisturizing taloate bar soap, and then there's plant-based bar soap. Completely worlds different apart. This doesn't burn your eyes, your senses, your nose, your mouth nearly as much. It's a lot more soothing to the skin, to the eyes, to the hair. It doesn't dehydrate your hair out. I can use this as a conditioner for my entire body. And I can't do that with other soaps. Other soaps won't allow you to do that. They'll dry you out. This doesn't dry me out like that at all. I would say it's about like 2 times less. 2 times, it's complete, it's worlds apart. It's a very night and day difference. You can instantly tell what bar soap has or hasn't been made out of plant-based materials. And this is. Instantly it resonates like, holy fuck. There's one ingredient which is basically a chemical, which is its main compound, but it's not gonna affect you that much. It's an all soap. It's hard to get rid of that. I forget what it's called. If I look at it right now, maybe even. Sodium palmate. No, it's not that. Fragrance parfum. I have to look into what some of these are. Terasodium EDTA, tetrabutanol, pyrethrithiol, hydroxy hydroxyhydrocinamate, polyethylene glycol is not something which is meant to be ingested. It's probably one of the things that I'm testing. It's in the largest concentration. It's fragrance perfume. Oh, I'm looking at a different brand of soap, cream and honey. Oh, jeez, that's got more of that chemical thing. But still, it's not that bad as long as you're not eating it. But putting on this body, there's nothing wrong with it. Just eating it, dermatologically tested. Only skin otherwise. It's only been tested on the skin. You're not supposed to eat soaps, but I want soaps that are biologically compatible with the human body, always. Because, I mean, you're going to ingest some of it. Why not make it always safe, basically, at a foundational level? And you can, for a few cents more, or for a few cents less, basically. But they have to cut costs somewhere. But this one, yeah, it's pretty pleasing. I can see where they can improve on this. There's a few more natural ingredients which could be added or omitted out. But, yeah, I like this. I appreciate it. Thanks, guys. Alright, so within our family's trash, within just a typical family's trash, there are ingredients which are basically can be used or thrown out, which can be reused by biology, by nature. And so usually I use this for my fruits and things, like all this organic material, coffee grounds, even cleanliness, what's it called? Cleanliness pads, if they're made out of pure cotton, they can be reused and recycled. They should be. Because basically it contains your blood, your concentrations of. It's the most nutrient dense concentrations of what comes out of your bodies. And so I will actually find ways to reuse that, to recycle it back to the earth more quickly, more directly. That is, I actually burn most of this. I won't allow this to go to the landfill, as it would if we're just left here. Oh, I'm gonna throw away some soap. We got coffee grounds. Coffee grounds are basically spent nutrients. There's not really a whole lot in there. So like things like tea bags, napkins, not the plastic. napkins like this. It's perfectly fine. It's perfectly... These hands have been through far dirtier waste than this, guys. Far dirtier waste. There's nothing that these hands, that this body hasn't touched, that hasn't gone into this body, which it has found that which this body has found that it is not compatible with. In other words, this body basically rolls over all things. I'm going to keep these straws, I'm going to soak them, because tubes can always be used for things. As an engineer's tool, it's a very clever gradient of basically creating a pathway between things. Perfectly fine. Perfectly formulated straws, might as well reuse them. They've already had stuff circulated through them once. My sister's pads. I do have a sister, yes. I'll actually show you guys my sister one day. She's very cute. She's small, she's dwarfed. She's dwarf size. She's not very tall. Not very big. That's pretty much, that's all the biodegradables out. The rest of us I'll just burn and give it directly to the atmosphere. To the earth, to nature. It'll become ash. It'll become ash, it'll become smog. Then it'll become rain. Then it becomes rain clouds. Rather quickly, actually. So it seems. So I've never really noticed. I never really put the two and two together. Basically, a layer of plastic, layer of aluminum. Burn the plastic off. This becomes basically pure aluminum, and this will degrade and become aluminum oxide in biology, basically sand again. It become inert. I don't have to send it to a landfill, which will simply just collect and never be reused at all. At least then it'll become clouds, it'll become rain. And so, spent coffee grounds is not the most ideal thing to be fertilizing. If you try to feed your trees, a fruit tree especially, something that doesn't, and that's all you feed is spent coffee grounds, you're going to kill that tree. You're going to make that tree very weak. If all you feed is Miracle-Gro and coffee grounds and leached nutrient things are basically, it's coconut flour, almond flour, rice flour, and that's because they've already been leached. All of the water, all of the milk has already been taken out of it. All of the salt, heavy metal salt compounds have been already taken out of it. And that's to make their milk. You don't make milk otherwise. It's not very satisfying milk otherwise. It needs that milk, those metal oxides, and it turns out, it becomes a very milky substance. That's why when you break fig stems, or even dandelion leaves, their sap is a very milky substance, and it's full of dense nutrient metal salt compounds. That's why it looks the way it does. That's why it tastes the way it does. It's astringent. It's bitter. Male fluid as well. Guy's fluid as well. That's our milk. It need not be wasted. If you ever do use that, recycle it. Either by taking it in through the mouth, giving it out, letting it go, giving it out into your bloodstream, or giving it right back out to your head. Or even just commanding your fluid, your milk from your elixir from your seminal gland itself back into your body. Just connect it and command it, and it will. You don't have to use time. You don't have to wait. You can do it right now. Just call it out. Call it out, and it will respond. All things in this universe, especially when you connect to them, are designed to respond to you. This goes for all life, alright? Goes for all life. And so, oh my god, Triad, thank you for all these. I swear to god, if someone took your package, I'm gonna be so fucking upset. If these really were shoes in here, I'd be so fucking upset. Because I'm trying to contact them, I'm trying to leave them a number, I'm trying to get there, I'm trying to leave something, and the site is down, basically. And so, we'll see. Love you, Triad. Thank you for this hat, thank you for those stickers. You're amazing. God, you're amazing. Your soul group is so clever, your soul group is so famous. You're getting so big. Your outreach is getting so enormous, it's fucking awesome. God, I'm excited. I'm excited as hell. As soon as I can, I'm going to put those stickers on everything. I'm going to show you guys how you can basically take one sticker and reuse it almost indefinitely just by basically using heat and hot glue. A heat gun and hot glue. That's all you need. Once you take that hot glue and you stick it onto the surface. Once you stick that hot glue onto a surface and you burn it into that surface, you melt it in there, and it becomes one with that plastic. It literally bonds to that plastic almost physically. You can stick a sticker on it, lay some hot glue over that sticker, and basically just using heat, you can take it back on and off, and it's very durable, and it doesn't peel off very easily at all, ever, unless you force it. It's pretty cool. I'll show you guys sometime. All right, all right, all right. So real quick, the reason why we have wars overseas nowadays, currently, is because we have funded them. As a Democratic Party, we've sent money overseas to countries, to people whom are unintegrated, and that causes outbreaks, that causes wars, that causes battles, that gives resources to people who don't need it, who will misuse it, who need it but who use it for base and lesser purposes. We cause the wars overseas. We cause all the fighting and the distress by arming them. We've equipped them. And so I used to be a Democrat. I used to love the idea, because I wasn't very strong. I used to be weak. I was very meek. And I understood that there was more of an abundance of wealth than we've given credit for. But if we use and we distribute it improperly, by giving people a means and a method which they can acquire anything, this is what they acquire. They acquire weapons. They acquire hard killing skills. They acquire guns, bullets, cannons, armaments, because that's what they've lived. That's what they've lived lifetimes of. They want to create war. And so what are we doing? Do we stop that? Do we stop funding it? Thank you, Elon. Thank you, Trump, for basically cutting out their funding, for basically stopping the wars, for not being pushovers in spirit, in biology, in strength and fortitude. You can't give resources to people who are unintegrated, or who don't know, or who don't understand, because they will misuse and abuse it. They will either mistreat it or cast it aside entirely. So it's up to us to be responsible and knowing, and that's why you have the outcries and all that, the crying outs of all the waste and expenditures, which isn't even needed to be. It doesn't even need to take place. It should be kept here on our own soil. We just create war otherwise.